As Ceres rises, the constellation of Orion rises to the east of it. There, when that star rises, it's said that Haru would be born. Precisely at December the 25th is the birth of the sun. Then we see during the time of the spring solstice, that's the resurrection of the sun. Now the question is, why is it the spring solstice doesn't have the same date as the winter solstice? We know that Christmas is always December the 25th. But nobody can ever tell you when the date of Easter is. Sometimes it's in March, sometimes it's in April. You know why? Because it's a Tahuti holiday. It's a lunar holiday. Now, how you can tell, it's always it's the first full moon after the spring solstice. Those of you who remember those calendars that got the phases of the moon on it, that they are now taken out of circulation because you can start to look at it. So when you look at the spring solstice, some of you can get the calendars that got the spring solstice, follow it, first full moon, the first Sunday is Easter. That's how you can tell when Easter is going to be, because it's a lunar holiday. And considering it's a lunar holiday, who represented the Neteru for the lunar? Tahuti. So that's what it goes back to, ancient Kemet. That's why we see the dates are different all the time, even though most people wouldn't know that anyway because they got you into the bunny, the rabbit, the chocolate rabbit and the eggs, even though a rabbit doesn't lay eggs, because that's Greek Orpheus stuff, because their idea of the resurrection was based off of the Greek women painting themselves, and they would run and hide. The Greek men would get a pregnant rabbit because the rabbit's proliferation, because it's born with his eyes wide open. That would symbolize what? The moon, the full moon. A rabbit's born with his eyes wide open. So that had symbolism to it. So when they would find her, they would have all this sex and fornication until the rabbit had its litter. And that was the Greeks' idea of how the spring solstice came back. Okay? So that's why there's no difference between the Playboy bunny and the Easter bunny. They both represent sex. And then, of course, if you don't get enough sex, you start to eat chocolate. Yeah, that's why you got a chocolate rabbit and a big chocolate rabbit. The bigger the chocolate rabbit, the more sex you need. That's what it goes back to. So this is all symbolism. So when you start to paint that egg, it's the Greek females who painted themselves. So tell your children the truth. They're going on the Easter egg hunt because that's what it came out of. Now, yes, an Easter egg.